All right, welcome back everybody to Cool Sports Chat, episode 11, in what turned out to not be the best football week this week. Unless your team won, there was not a lot of good quarterbacking, which makes Russell Wilson's terrible game stand out even more when he was the worst quarterback in a terrible quarterback week. But yeah, we'll talk about the week that was. Even in college, it was kind of a funky week. It was just not very good. I mean, hey, if your teams are winning, I'm sure it was good, but
Yeah,
we were striking out.
I think it was either 8 or 9 of the top 25 teams lost this week. It was like one of
Yeah.
the
yeah,
most we've seen in a long time.
Well, and like we'll jump to college first. We saw both University of Wyoming and Louisville both having leads, losing by nearly identical scores. CS or CU
blew it.
gave up 29-point lead. CSU, on the other hand, came back and actually won that one, which what looked like a game
That
that
was a
was
great
going
play.
away. What was the status of the guy that got taken out by the ambulance? Have you heard, Matt?
In the NFL, or
No, I'm not
No,
updated. I'll check that
CSU.
real quick on Google, see what it says.
Yeah, no, Damian Harris of the Bills, I know, was out of the hospital last I had heard.
yeah,
So it was kind of weird that the Bills ambulance had Hamlin's number on it.
yeah,
Like, they definitely, saved his life, but at the same time, I'm like, how would you feel like if that was your number? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it was a very weird week. Outside of the top four or five teams, we saw a lot of shakeup. And Air Force finally made the top 25, which means Wyoming probably would have had they actually won that game. I still think they have a chance to get into the top 25. I don't know. CU on the other hand, I think the voters will not allow them back in, even if they go undefeated the rest of the year. I just think the public opinion on CU for some reason has turned. I guess because they're doing good, but
So I got word, not word, but according to Google or one of the news websites, that Kennedy McDowell was the Rams player that was injured on a blindside block by the Boise State player. He was, treated. He had a full movement. Saturday or Sunday afternoon, he was evaluated overnight and had been released from the hospital in excellent spirits. So it sounds like he is home, stating that the MRI and CT scans were all clear. And so it seems like it's going to be a good outcome for this young man.
that is definitely good to hear. We always hope for the best especially when you see that. I mean, there was no movement, even with Damian Williams with Buffalo. At least he gave a thumbs up. It was. I know we were watching it live in the Eagles this past Saturday, and we were like, "Oh, that is not good to see at all."
Yeah, well, and like you said, you had his shirt cut off, everything was being removed to get to him. So, I mean, that's got to be a very scary situation.
Especially after last year, we saw the whole Hamlin situation, which again, going back to Buffalo, I mean, they had to have just been like, "Why us?" Like 2 times in 2 years, in less than a year, I guess technically, that they've had a player with that bad of an injury. But yeah, we'll run down. Indiana did lose to Michigan, much like Scott had said. It was only 52-7. So he said, "Hey, if they didn't lose by worse than the Broncos, that was a good day." So he got it right. Louisville did lose to Pitt. Of course, a lot of these games Matt and I didn't watch because we did have our presentation here at the Eagles Club. So unfortunately, we did miss a lot of the college football. Missouri also beat Kentucky. So both Kentucky teams losing 38-21. Kind of a weird coincidence there. We do see Georgia just continuing to just do what Georgia does and win. Ohio State's another one, still winning. They beat Purdue. Florida also beat up Syracuse. Alabama, in a close one with Arkansas, pulled out that victory. Utah beat California. Penn State absolutely dismantled Massachusetts.
Mhm.
Massachusetts still gave up less points than the Denver Broncos, only gave up 63.
I don't know if
Wa-
I can see that 70 get beat, man. That's pretty brutal, dude.
well, and then one of the talking games, Washington beating Oregon, Matt. How did you feel about that one?
That ended up being a fun game. I had a feeling it was going to be a fun one, and it lived up to the hype. Both teams played excellent. I mean, what a fun game to watch. I'm honestly glad that Washington came out on top. Oregon, has been a powerhouse team for a long time. They're very well known as a powerhouse team. So I'm glad to see some of these colleges that we haven't heard of, or not we've not heard of, but we haven't heard of them for a while. Washington's finally getting that elite football team back, so it's good to see them back in the ranks where they're at.
How did you feel about their jerseys this week?
Oregon's, at first I was like, man, they got some dirt on the jersey already or some crap, and I zoomed in on one of the ads. I'm like, well, they all look like that, and then I see it was like a paint splatter pattern or something. I was like, okay, that's a little interesting. I mean, from the TV angle, like I said, just looked like they were wearing dirty jerseys.
Yeah, it was like freckled. Brendan, did you have any thoughts on the Oregon jerseys?
I didn't even see them, so.
Here, Matt, can you pull it up to show them real quick?
Yeah, hang on one second.
Right,
I didn't watch a whole lot of college football this week. Texas was out of bye, so I didn't care.
Yeah, we were busy ourselves, so I didn't. We did watch a little bit of, well, I guess the CSU, but there's another game, and we'll get to it, that I was watching, kind of surprised. Tennessee beat Texas A&M. Oklahoma State beat Kansas. Now, Kansas was ranked. Brendan, you live in Kansas. How are people taking that one?
They're not even talking about the Kansas loss. Everyone is rooting for the rookie, or sorry, not the rookie, but the freshman out of Mays, Kansas, for the Wildcats, which put up 5 rushing touchdowns against Texas Tech and beat Texas Tech after coming into the game quarter and a half in. So he didn't even play the whole game, and he still put up 5 rushing touchdowns and, single-handedly beat them.
And then there's the freckle.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, we saw Arizona beat ranked Washington State 44-6. I mean, that had to have been surprising. LSU's continuing their role, 48-18. And this brings us to our game that we were talking about. USC lost in pretty definitive fashion to Notre Dame, which made me feel good because I was like, well, no way they can drop Louisville out of the top 25 now.
Right.
We beat Notre Dame. But man, USC, especially for a, Heisman finalist team, a, hopeful for the championship, Caleb Williams didn't look good. I mean, it just was not a good showing for any of them this week.
And honestly, I'm glad Washington State lost. I heard they got some beef with our guy Pat McAfee. So anyone that's got beef with Pat McAfee, we're not cheering for you. Your team can just lose every week.
Yeah, we like Pat McAfee here. I did hear that. Yeah, because he was going to what was it, Washington? He went to.
Yeah, he was there for that Washington Ducks game.
Yeah, what a win for them. North Carolina, number 12, beat number 25 Miami by 10. Number 15 Oregon beat number 18 UCLA, and number 17 Duke beat North Carolina State. So I don't know, kind of a weird week And let's before we get to NFL, let's look at the week that is coming for college at least, because we got to be positive before we get to the negatives, because I feel like we're gonna have a lot of negatives coming with our NFL section. So we got number 22 Air Force, like I said, breaking into the top 25, going against Navy. This is the big Air Force Navy game. Matt, how do you feel about this one?
Oh, I believe they refer to this one as the Commander-in-Chief game. Um, I like it. Air Force, I think, is just dominating right now. I think Air Force comes out with a pretty clean victory in this one.
Right. I was gonna say we should wear some Buffalo or Wyoming stuff, and I don't know. Are you gonna be wearing Air Force stuff on Saturday?
I just might. I don't know. I got my super awesome Cowboys football jersey or hockey jersey, or I do have my brand new United States Air Force, but they're Space Edition football jersey. So I got a decision to make this weekend coming up.
Right. I was also thinking about wearing our shirts me and Sam got from the prison up in Laramie, the prisoner outfit. Since we're going to a prison museum, we might as well get in the character, right? Though at the same time, I'm like, I think they probably sell their own, so if I wanted to. But this one should be pretty big. I would think Air Force would win this, but this is one of those kind of rivalry games you never know what's going to happen. I mean, the bad teams in rivalry games always play better. It's just how it is. This one's kind of been the hyped up one. Penn State, number 7, going against number 3, Ohio State. Ohio State's been playing really good, but from what I hear, because I haven't watched any Penn State, so I do apologize, but I do hear Penn State's playing pretty well. Do any of you guys have any visuals on Penn State this year so far?
Not really. I mean, it is what it is. Penn State always is one of those teams that is around the whole season, but when the playoffs roll around, they just kind of disappear.
Right. Yeah, and we can only keep up with so many games. I mean, we have so many different colleges that we kind of watch as a group. Even if it's not our personal college, we always watch these other ones, so it gets kind of hard. Oklahoma is going against UCF. Oklahoma's one that's kind of interesting for me and Brendan, because I know we went to the campus, to the college, and ever since then I'm like, man, we should have gone on at least tour the stadium. Like, that would have been cool. Oh, here we go. Washington State, Oregon. That should be an interesting one right there. Let's see. Here we go, Brendan. Let's talk about it. Number 8, Texas, going to Houston.
Are they up to 8?
Yep.
I like how you can have a bye week and you jump up a spot.
I mean,
that's because almost every team in the top 10 lost. Almost every team.
Yeah, they didn't lose on their bye week, so that is how they moved up.
I know, but I just last I heard they were number 9, so I just have a bye week and you move up a spot. I like it. I think it should be a good game for them to bounce back and re-show their dominance. Get back on track of, we had some time to rest, and hopefully we got, some of our defensive cues a little cleaned up, because if anything, if we go against another good team and we have to, if from that Oklahoma game, it's not going to be a good year for their playoff chances.
Yeah, it's kind of the crappy thing about the playoff rankings right now. I know next year, and we've already kind of seen it if you go through Twitter and Instagram, it's like that mock 12 team, what it would look like next year. And yeah, I mean, I guess it was better when they introduced the 4 team than how it was, where it was kind of politics got you to the championships. But I think it'll get even better next year,
Well, and I think this game too, the Houston College team is paying homage to the Houston Oilers and wearing the powder blue uniform combination.
Ooh.
I believe this is the week. I know it's coming up here in the next week or two.
Yeah, that should make for an interesting combo for sure. I was pulling up Colorado State, another one of our Colorado colleges that we kind of follow. They're playing UNLV. Perhaps not a lot of people are watching those unless you go to those schools. But I'm looking a couple weeks ahead. They play Air Force, and then they go up to Wyoming for the border war on November 3rd, which would be an absolutely fun game to go to. But who knows how the weather will be? And they do close the highways down. So if we went up there, we could get stuck. So that's them. Let's see. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Louisville's on a bye. They don't play till next week against Duke. Who is Wyoming playing? Oh, Wyoming is going to play Boise State. So they're in Boise State. That's one that me and Matt were talking about. Be a fun college to go see, at least the blue field.
And as far as Broncos football, they're one of the teams that could win, at least with the Broncos name.
Right. You go to a Broncos game, at least if it's in college, you have an opportunity to see a win, see more than 15 points. Yeah, I swear Denver fans got to hate us. Let's see. Kentucky's also on a bye. They don't come back till next week. And Colorado's also on a bye. So all bye weeks this week for a lot of those teams. So I guess that wraps up our college talk until maybe we get some more people on the stream. Let's go to the NFL. Where should we start? Brendan, I feel like we should start with you with your first loss of the year. How do you feel?
That was hard to watch. God damn. Even without their best top corner, I don't know what happened. You would think with already having to play a game in MetLife Stadium, you'd be good in it, but damn. That was not showing up. And they lost their tackle. It doesn't sound like it's going to be long, but Lane Johnson. It doesn't sound like it's going to be a long one. He might miss a game, but luckily it was not as major as it could have been.
Right. Yeah, no, injuries are something we're definitely going to talk about because I think I lost almost 85% of my bench to injury this week. Like I think I'm down to 2 running backs. And I had a ton of running backs, but a bunch of injuries. Now, Matt, speaking of one of my injuries, the Vikings did win, but no Justin Fields. It does sound like he at least only dislocated his thumb. Nothing broken, which is good for him. But Vikings get a win. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I don't know what Justin Fields has to do with the Vikings there. Do you mean Jefferson?
No, Fields got hurt.
I know he ain't on my team. He ain't to bother me, man. Anyone can get hurt as long as they're not on my team, as long as it's not serious. I mean, I don't want to wish any player an injury. But no, the Vikings had a good win. We needed it. And 2 games now we've won. We're going to the Super Bowl, baby. This is the Vikings team to do it now.
I mean, they're definitely playing a different type of football without Jefferson, like you mentioned. They more run kind of – it's more balanced, I would say. Though Cousins still slinging the ball. I know a lot of people are still talking about trades, but unless I think – they completely drop the next 2, I think he's still a Viking.
Yeah, and forgive me if I mispronounce his name, but I was also going to bring up real quick while we were talking to Brendan about that last week. So, you got to wonder if the Jets coaching staff, and they seem like the personality that would do it, especially, Hackett beating the Broncos last week and getting the win over the Eagles this week, quoting one of the greatest head coaches of all time, Lou Brown. We won a game last week. We won a game this week. And if we win next week, that's what we call a winning streak. Are the Jets getting ready to go on a winning streak? Could this Jets team be one that shocks us? As you see in the news, Aaron Rodgers all of a sudden is just miraculously walking around on a ACL or whatever it was that he tore, or his wasn't his ACL, but to have an injury like that, to be walking around now without any boot or cast is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think I saw him actually on the field tossing a football. which is just mind blowing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still probably a long ways out. We still forget walking is different than planting your foot and running and pivoting and everything else. But yeah, no, it is incredible to see. Rodgers is a freak.
Right.
I was just going to chime in real quick about the Cousins talk. He can't be traded because he says that he's not waiving his no trade clause. So he's Minnesota Viking through this year at least.
Yeah, through this year.
Unless he gets benched, but he's still going to be on the team.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to quarterbacks that'll probably get benched here in a minute.
Just like Russell Wilson, Cousins puts up numbers. Yes, he does. He puts up great numbers, but where are those victories with those numbers? Again, just like last year, the Vikings were in, I think it was like 12 or 13 one-score games. And so far this year, every single game has been a one-score game. We've managed to win 2 of them, as opposed to last year where I think we were 11-0 or 12-0 in those one-score games. So, we're playing really close football, not our best.
That is Russell Wilson's QBR, 9.8 out of 100. He put up numbers, but I don't know if they're pretty numbers.
Right? Yeah. Hey, for those people that comment on our comments,
Those interceptions
their
are
numbers, man,
numbers.
right there.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I mean, the Rockies might be able to get more home runs in a game than that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and again, for the Broncos to lose the same way they lost the week before, a fumble really to end your offensive drive to where you had a chance to be in the game, win the game, whatever. I think they were down 8, so it wouldn't have been winning the game, but at least getting yourself in it. Just the turnovers. And I speak as a Vikings fan. We continuously turn the damn ball over. You got to hold on to that thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we got to do, but we're getting there. Vikings are improving. I think we're going to see, a different team come out of the last half of the season.
I mean, I think everyone in the league has more faith in the Vikings than the Broncos, so you are good there. Let's jump to it. Denver loses 19-8.
Yep.
And honestly, it felt over at 10-0.
Yep.
Like, you knew they weren't coming back.
We kept Kansas City. They didn't score that much either.
No, the Chiefs looked terrible. They scored the worst points for the victory team against the Broncos, even losing team against the Broncos this year. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Broncos look like a fire, and I don't know how to fix it. I know we've kind of joked about it, but at this point, I have no idea, like, honestly.
Well, how about this? Speaking of the Kansas City ugly win, last night, the Dallas Cowboys, an ugly win. Who had this week the ugliest win where it was like, you know what? That was a sad game to watch.
I would say 90% of the league, it was not a good week.
That was some tough football to watch this week. Again, in the NFL, some upsets happened, and it was like, wow, this team looked like crap today.
Well, the Bills, I know we kind of gave them some slack 2 weeks ago because they went to London. But they, again, don't look very good. They did pull off the win, but not very convincing, especially against the Giants.
Yep.
Didn't look good.
They put almost 50 up against the Dolphins. Then you can only put up 14 against the Giants.
Yeah. Well, and then, like Matt said, Cowboys, ugly victory there. Let's see. Raiders, Patriots, more of a game than I think a lot of people thought it was going to be. My opinion, Broncos, Chiefs. That was because you expect so much out of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Even if you don't expect anything out of Russell Wilson and the Broncos, you at least thought you were going to get something out of the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Well, and Kelsey showed up. He was playing his heart out for his girlfriend up in the stands. His numbers were pretty impressive. But is there maybe a Taylor Swift curse that going on? Like the Chiefs, I think we got to look at when Taylor's there, what their numbers put up are. Could she be the curse of the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, the game she didn't go to, Kelsey almost left due to injury. So maybe there is a curse. I mean, if you want to talk a curse, how about the Broncos, right? Trading Randy Gregory to the 49ers, who then go ahead and lose their first game of the year. Did some of that bad mojo from the Broncos rub off on the 49ers?
Or was Gregory some of that bad mojo as well? You hear these players that get stereotyped, the bad juice that ruins teams. Don't bring this guy in. I mean, yeah, he may put up the sacks and everything, but he's a poison to the locker room. We maybe have to reach out to some Cowboy fans, see what they thought of Gregory and what his time was there with the Cowboys, but just see maybe some players, they just don't have what it is to be a team participant.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a very weird game to watch, especially at the end. You think they're going to go in, kick the field goal for the win, and it was just ever so slightly wide right. And then the Browns get a victory with a backup quarterback that was he playing better than Deshaun? Where's Deshaun? A lot of reports say he has been healthy for 2 weeks now and cleared, or 3 weeks because I guess they have the bye or whatever. Where is he?
Yeah, but you got to remember for what they're paying him. He's got to be the one holding out. I don't know if it's the team putting him down, but unless they're trying to get him just to back out of his contract. But yeah, you never know.
Well, I know there was a post where they said the Browns could get rid of him if he gets too many unsportsmanship penalties. And I was like, I didn't even know that was like a disclaimer when you signed a contract. Hey, if you punch someone, I mean, I guess then, but like, hey, if you're like getting these flags, we're going to cut you. Another team I've seen a lot of talk about, did the Giants look better with their backup, Tyrod Taylor? Brendan's saying no.
I thought that was kind of an interference call at the end, though. They were pushing up on each other.
Without shout, I think the Giants may have been robbed there at the end of the game. That was a pretty a lame, penalty at the end where clearly the jersey was being held on to.
Yep.
Even if it's a flag for both teams, throw the flag. Let the viewers know you saw the flag.
Yep.
Again, here we are, another primetime game where, again, just like the ending of the Vikings-Chiefs game, there's clear penalties that these referees are missing. What are they watching? It still helps build my case that I think in a way the NFL is scripted. Prove me wrong,
Well, I think one reason that you see a lot of these undecisive calls is if you look back a couple of years ago, they were calling a lot of the PI and people are just getting frustrated with them, or they were reviewing. Do you remember when we had that like small time frame you could review PI? And so I think now they're like, was it a penalty? And you have so many people telling you, oh, no, it's fine. Just let them play. Don't let them play. I think it's more just like we need to have a certain like school, I guess, where these refs go and it's all concise.
Right. Well, yeah, if you're going to let them play, then let them play the whole game. Don't all of a sudden say the last 2 minutes of the game, oh, because it's a game, we're going to let them play. That's one thing I do like about playoff hockey is the referees do take a step back. You notice that there are a lot less penalties called. They let them play the whole game, though. It's not all of a sudden with 5 minutes left, oh, let's make sure anything that is called, or let's just blow a couple calls off and let it be.
Well, they did that against the Lions, though, too. They kind of gave the Lions the win week one because, they let the Chiefs' offensive line get away with false starting all game, and then the last two drives they started calling it. It's like the second they picked up momentum, now we're going to stall them and stop them. So I mean, it could. I don't think it's scripted. I think it's rigged by the refs.
I don't think it's rigged. I think it's poor officiating. And I also don't think it helps that as an audience we can see things better than the referees can at any point. And at the same time now, for whatever reason, this year the announcers are like, well, that should have been a penalty, weren't they? And then it's like, a 5-minute conversation about a non-call, and it's like, okay, what are you trying to do? Like,
Well, I'll tell you one guy that's busy on the TV is that Gene. Is it Salvat? I'm going to say his name wrong, but like Gene Salvatore. It seems like every game you watch. Let's check in with our rules analyst, Gene. What did you see there?
Yeah.
He's like, well, it was clear pass interference, but it looks like they don't want to call it that way or something.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
right?
Well, I can't take credit for it, but I was watching a YouTuber the other day, and he kind of brought up some good points. Is it just out of what's the word where something happened? Coincidence. Just coincidence that when 9/11 happened and the world needed kind of that underdog hero type thing. Here come along the Patriots. Patriot, something true, and Tom Brady, a true underdog. Drafted in the last round of or 6 or 7. He was a very late pick.
6 round, yeah.
Yeah, and he ended up coming back. And then you come up to the Saints. Hurricane Katrina was a travesty. The city wins the Super Bowl the same year. Just a couple of years ago, with everything going on with Ukraine and everything like that, the yellow and blue. Who wins the Super Bowl that year? The Rams. The yellow and blue. Is that all that just quinkadink or what? There were a few more other ones in there, but those are the ones that kind of stood out to me where I'm like, God, man, like every time I hear stuff like this, I get more mind washed that, man, this stuff is rigged. But and it all could be quinkadink, but it's funny that this happens the same years for a lot of that stuff.
Well, the Katrina happened, I think, a couple years before the Super Bowl. Because the Saints won it in 2010, and Katrina happened in 2005. But there was the first game back, I think it was the next year, where they were playing Michael Vick and the Atlanta Falcons and heavy underdogs, and they ended up winning. But again, that was back when the Saints were a good divisional matchup, and they still are.
I'll find that YouTube thing and I'll send it to you offline. But just maybe it wasn't the Super Bowl. It was just a lot of stuff they brought to the point where it's like, well, son of a gun, they're right. That is an interesting thing to have happen.
Well, and not to derail this too much, but a series that we'll have to watch because it's terrible. Billy the Kid, the Epic series. It's terrible. We got to watch it. We got to talk about it. They kill off Josie Antrim as a child. The one Josie Antrim who lived to talk to Pat Garrett after Billy the Kid died and ended up dying as an old man here in Denver, Colorado. I know we get a lot of comments, so I just wanted to state that on the YouTube. We will watch it at some point. I just wanted to update you guys. Yeah, every once in a while we got to update you guys. Kind of something funny, Matt. We did get a comment today on Wyoming's tallest building short, which is one that we always kind of get a comment on, it seems like. But it was from a Cody who said, yo, I was living in that dorm when you guys visited it. So, again, someone else that finds it, and that's like, whoa, look at that.
Like, hey, man, can you get us up to the top floor so we can take a look?
I should comment that. We just want to go to the top to say we were at the top. Ooh, now to talk fantasy football. Let me open that one real quick.
So did I hear from Pat McAfee that Broncos are going to sack VJ for Rex Ryan?
I mean, that's the talk, but Rex Ryan ain't saving the Broncos.
No.
Yeah, and nothing's happening this season. They're not firing Vance Joseph in the middle of the year. I think that just sets a bad precedent for your team.
Especially when the defense had its best game of the year. They're not going to sack him right then.
Well, I mean, I think the last 2 games, the defense actually looked much improved after that Dolphins beatdown.
Yeah.
Well, and then what happens? Russell Wilson against better defenses looks as bad, if not worse, than he did last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just making, and he looked scared the game before, but this game, I don't even know how to describe it. So we wanted to take a look at where the playoffs would lead us in fantasy if it started today. because we are halfway through the season. Now, on one side of the playoff tree, you got first round, number 1 seed by Thundercats. No surprise there. Then you got a bye week from number 4 Montana Outlaws and number 5 Castle Rock Rams. Still probably no surprise there. But then, kind of hiding in that same side of the tree, you would see number 8 Yorkville versus number 9 Blueberry Bulldogs. So some younger teams, always good to see. The branch of the tree I was kind of excited about was the other one. So whoever won our side would go against this side. And you see first round by David and the Cryptid Critters. So that's cool. First year in the league, doing really well. Another first round by South Park Cows. So Shane, again, drafting really well, getting a 5-1 team there, pretty impressive. And then also number 2 Dark Horse. Some reason ahead of me. I don't know how. I'm pretty sure I beat Dark Horse, and I have more points. So not sure how I'm not number 2.
You have the most points in the league.
I know. I don't know. It's rigged. It's rigged to get my own league. I rigged against me. No, I don't know. And then you have number 7 California Sun Hitters and number 10 Birmingham Bats. So for me, it's always exciting to see those new teams that we don't usually see getting better, drafting well, adding good players, and just making smart moves to get in the position. So to have almost a whole branch of your tree with new teams, I'm excited about. I'm also excited that it would be me and Brendan after the bye week. And then Matt versus whoever wins, Bob versus Grayson there.
Yeah.
It'll be round 3. Best of 3 for you and I.
Right? If only Cryptid Critters could play the Bears again and have 5 games in 1 year.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I'm getting ready for my 3rd matchup in 4 weeks with the Desert Dogs again this week. So we'll see how.
He is struggling with injuries. I guess we'll get to last week's score before we get to this week's matchups. Some big injuries this week. So Matt did pull off the victory, 141-86 to 93-34. Pretty decisive win. Not too many injuries on Matt's side, right? You guys pretty good?
My biggest one is, the Browns running back who is out again, and depending on, if it's long term, I may have to find a new running back again. But I don't sit with Mr. Chubb.
Right, and I guess since Scott's not on, I will discuss his team. He did lose. He already lost Anthony Richardson, which seems like it's going to be season ending. But now he is also down Trevor Lawrence. So he has no quarterback going into next week. Should be interesting. Christian McCaffrey also got hurt. So once again, he just doesn't have him and Barkley at the same time. Let's see. Where is Brendan?
I didn't lose anyone this week. No one showed up.
Who did you play?
I played Grayson.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, you lost.
I didn't even score 100 points this week. What?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't recognize this outlaw team. You lost 104.32 to 89. Grayson down his top running back, but he was still able to pull off a victory. And maybe it's matchups too. You had Hurts against the Jets, and then you had the Eagles defense against the Jets, who the Jets offense played well. Tennessee didn't play well, and you had Hopkins, who the game before played super well. So I think you'll have a bounce back game. I don't know who you play this week, but
Blake.
Number 2 somehow, Dark Horse. Not sure how that happened.
Oh yeah, and Blake's getting cocky too, man. He's feeling that number 2 pride, and he should. I mean, he's been battling for a long time.
Yeah, that one year he almost went defeated. He might have gone defeated. I don't know. He was not very good that one year. So good to see that turnaround. Where is that game? Yeah, he made up for that loss he had against Iowa Eagles earlier in the year by just like dismantling them. 149-98. Bobby, you had a almost 100-point game,
Yeah.
but Sun hitters just came out too strong. Mark's team starting to get hot at the right time. He always kind of seems like he starts slow and then always comes back and sneaks into the playoffs. My team, lots of injuries. Where do I start? Watson got hurt Thursday night. Montgomery got hurt. Justin Fields got hurt. Kyrian Williams got hurt. You saw Metcalf kind of get hurt. Who's my other wide receiver got hurt? I don't know. I had so many. I don't even know what to do anymore. What else do we have this week? We saw Cryptid Critters beat Birmingham Bats again. Bats said championship, and now they're just losing. South Park Cows, definitive victory 106-58 over BP Bears. So that brings us week 7 for fantasy. Brendan, you play Dark Horse, and like you said, it's going to be a matchup. He might have some stuff going on right now. It says you are projected to win. Like, what is your mindset going into this game?
I have no clue, honestly. It's going to be a hard rest of the year. I'm not confident in my bench, and losing Justin Jefferson for possibly 6 weeks, losing my best running back for at least 4, and my other top receiver, not having still having to deal with a shoulder injury is not the best thing to do when it's hit and miss for the rest of your team if they're going to show up or not. I can't rely on my quarterback to get me 40 points every week.
Are you looking back at maybe trying to retrade with Blake? I know he offered you a trade. He was talking about it in the chat.
I did, yeah.
Oh, you did offer him a trade?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we might have a trade. Brendan is excited. I saw you offered me a trade, but then half my team got hurt. So I was like, I might have to hold on to Montgomery. I actually, if Montgomery didn't get hurt, or Kyrian Williams and obviously Montgomery, I don't want to just give you a hurt running back, but I might do it. Let's see Bobby, we play each other. What is your game plan this week?
And I'm trying to find players. I don't even know who to.
Just stay away from Denver, Bobby.
No, I'm trying
to
find a tight end because all of them are like 3 points now, 3 point something. They all like, they're like 3 points. That's it.
Well, I think we're at the time of the year. If you want to add someone, unless there's an injury, it's going to have to be through trade.
Yeah. Ooh.
Which is hard because tight ends are not very easy to come across.
No.
Me and I know that for sure.
I need to find people.
Well, and you got to just learn how to hold on to him too, buddy. You had one of the best tight ends in the game in Andrews with the Ravens just last year, and somehow he wasn't on your keeper list, and you lost him, dude. So
yeah, I know.
You got to make sure you're saving the right players too, bud.
Yeah.
Last year you had Andrews, you had Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I know.
So, hey, it's all learning. It's all learning. We'll get you there. You're in the playoff hunt, so you're doing good. We see California Sun hitters going against Blazing Red. Who knows who's going to win this matchup? Their teams are kind of similar. Could be really good. Could score less than 100. So who knows with this one? We talked Montana Outlaws, Dark Horse, Blueberry Bulldogs versus Iowa Eagles. I don't know. I think Bulldogs could pull off this one, but at the same time, they're down a lot of their star players that got them kind of here. So another one that could be close. We got another dogs and cats matchup. Matt, what's your game plan right now?
Just hoping and praying that Allen and Diggs perform. That seems to be the weekly thing right now. Last year, the two of them were amazing. It was like points, at least guaranteed 100 points every week just with those two. And now, you hope for a good game from both of them. I've been struggling to get 60 combined. So, just Diggs and Allen connecting. Taylor and Harris as my running backs need to step it up. Taylor, I think this is his third week back, so hopefully he's getting some more reps. I know they said they plan on utilizing him a lot more, but Harris, if he can go back to the running back he was 2 years ago, we'll be pretty well set.
Now, are you desperate enough to try to trade for Russell Wilson from South Park House?
No, I may just trade for Russell Wilson to find a way to delete him permanently from our league. That way no one has to worry about suffering with him as the quarterback.
Oh, man. Good thing Shane has Geno Smith, because that could be a long year if not. Look at that. He even got replaced by Geno Smith in fantasy football.
Right? Man, Russell's just not Russell.
Oh, and talking about that, Cryptid Critters faces the Bears. One of our constants, death taxes, Cryptid Critters facing the Bears in fantasy football. This one could be a pretty good victory for David.
Yeah, I was going to say, David looks like he just needs to start a quarterback, and he'll pretty handily defeat the Bears, but you never know. I mean,
yeah,
the Bears in our fantasy league are about the same as the Bears in the real league as well.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to, because he was a playoff team. I mean, obviously Murray's hurt, but Murray didn't play very well. I don't get what happened there. And then we got South Park Cows again taking on the Birmingham Bats. What fantasy football matchups are not very good scheduled. But it looks like Bats are predicted to get the victory back and beat the Cows. So I don't know. Should be interesting. Brendan, what's your win probability? 95, 99%?
I don't know.
Come on, you gotta talk smack. What if he sees?
I've almost given up on fantasy this year.
Brendan's gonna win the game, the entire thing again. 'Cause last time you said that, you're like, I don't think I'll win. Then you won everything. So I know what's happening now. Matt, what's the win probability for Shane with Geno Smith, and then if he were to put Russell Wilson in, how do you think that affects him?
If he puts Russell in, he's got a 0% chance of winning. I mean, I don't even think he is relatively close in this game. But with Geno in there, I think it increases his chances. This could be a 50-50 for him with Geno starting. I mean, like I said, it all depends on how his star players perform. He's got a lot of those middle of the pack card players that could see some increased playing time due to some injuries, but the Bats are starting to wake up too, so it's going to be a fun game for them.
Yeah, no, it's should be interesting. Let's see. Oh, Desert Dogs and Brendan both making some moves. Dogs adding 2 running backs. Montana Outlaws adding Julio Jones, possibly because he's an Eagle.
I'm trying to get help too.
Unfortunately, there's not a lot of help to be gotten right now.
No.
I even looked and I was like, "Oh, Jerome, or who do I have? Is his name Jerome Ford?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "Yeah, he might be starting this week. I don't know. Not that he didn't play bad last week, but not who I thought I'd have starting in one of my mid-year games." So we shall see. But that brings us hockey started, right? Pretty fun hockey game so far.
watching hockey right now. We got the Lightning playing right now. Fun game to tune in on and back and forth with playoff baseball. That's exciting, you know. This is the best time of the year right now.
Right? I mean, Blackhawks got a win over the Maple Leaves and gotten some over some other teams, including, the Penguins, which I don't think anyone thought they would do. But, Brennan, how do you feel with the Golden Knights this year?
They're already showing that they have depth and they can win games. I think tonight's our first real test against the Dallas Stars. We've played a few, rebuild teams the first week, so it's nothing. I don't want to get too excited, but I don't want to, let my guard down as well. So yeah, we'll see.
Dude, what are you talking about? I'll talk about it for you, dude. The Vegas Golden Knights again are going to be one of those top teams in the conference. I mean, I look forward to the battle with the Avs and the Knights. Those are always some fun games to watch, and I really hope that the two of them just get a rivalry going. I think that would be a fun rivalry to have. But I know you really want to be more with teams in your own conference or division, but I don't know. I think Colorado Vegas rivalry would be pretty awesome right now. We need one.
I think Brennan would be okay with that.
I want to come to the Colorado Vegas game, but I think it's on a Wednesday in January or something, and I can't take weekdays off. So
yeah, and it's one of those super fun games that everyone wants to watch. So of course it's like 8:30 at night, puck drop time, I think.
Yeah.
We're like opening night. It's like, who's going to go to this game? By the time they get all the verbiage out of their mouths, the puck is going to drop 9 o'clock Thursday night here in Denver. That is atrocious. I mean, What the heck is the NHL thinking? This is stupid. I know many fans are dumping their tickets quick just because it's a work night. Like, no one's going to go to this game. So if you want to go check out the Avs, Blackhawks opening night, you might be able to get a pretty good deal on tickets now that people are just bailing on them because of the ridiculous start time.
Well, that's what I've heard with some of the college football games too. There's some that are like 8, 9 o'clock start nights, and people are like, "Hey, I'll sell you the tickets because I don't want to go." Before we get to predicting what's going to happen this upcoming week in NFL, college, and stuff, we got to look at our weekly Russell Wilson quarterback standings. Matt, two names that I know Brendan would probably recognize, and I want to see how you would rate them compared to Russell Wilson. Aiden Hill, Logan Thompson. Would you rank the goalies for the Golden Knights higher than Russell Wilson on your quarterback ranking?
Dude, they're Stanley Cup champions. Heck yeah, I would. Those guys are front and center. Put them in under center. Let them do their thing and work their magic, man.
All right, clip it there. That is going to be a crazy short.
Hang on, I have another Golden Knight. McNabb. Some of these saucer passes down rink he's been throwing these last 2 games have been ridiculous. He's a better quarterback than Russell Wilson.
All right, we're adding that onto the short as Bob has left the chat. He has left the chat. All right, so there you guys go. Don't get mad. That's just, we got to update you guys. You always want to know. I know we got some comments. Russell Wilson putting up numbers. I don't know if 9.8 is a good number to be putting up, but he put it up. So we'll see how many more games he plays, because I think at some point this year he can
heard from the Twitter feed that even Ryan Leaf has now chipped in and said he would be happy to come try out for the Broncos. I'm pretty sure he would get a starting position over Russell Wilson.
I mean, cars?
Huh?
I thought Ryan Leaf was in jail.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to out. This could be like a probation for him. Like, yeah, we'll let you do work release.
Well, volunteer work.
Back to jail.
It's volunteer work.
Right. Let's take a look back at Matt's first quarterback ranking, because I think Ryan Leaf did come up in that.
Levis above Russell Wilson.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Russell Wilson's like quarterback number 35 on my list right now. I think I'd take Stedham over Russell Wilson.
Would you take Jamarcus Russell over Russell
Yeah,
Wilson?
give me Jamarcus Russell.
Good,
Give me
Let's do it.
give me Ryan Leaf. I'll take Ryan Leaf over Russell Wilson.
Who else is ahead of Russell Wilson? Malik Willis?
Every other starting quarterback is above him, including his backup quarterback, Stedham, is above him.
You're going to ask me right now, dude. I take Uncle Rico over Russell Wilson.
Uncle Rico.
Over the mountains.
I'll even take Bobby over Russell Wilson.
There is one quarterback that Russell Wilson is better. Kendall Hinton.
Well, I would have to say Hanson, because I don't even think he attempted a pass in that game. Russell Wilson can he can go to Canadian Football League for all I care.
He's going straight to Canada.
Yep, straight to Canada.
You rank
All right. So, how's the Straight to Canada petition going?
Good. I got a few hashtags out there. Russ of the CFL. Threw that out there a few times. So, we're going to start getting this movement happening, dude.
Now, I know
Watch out. Russell Wilson's coming.
I know Bobby's going to be coming with us to the King Supers. Brendan, can we count on you as well? We're going to be wearing CFL jerseys and petitioning outside of King Supers in Colorado to try to get people to sign our petition to send Russell Wilson to Canada.
I mean,
think
I'll
that's a
sign it. I
yes.
don't know if I'll be able to make it to Colorado.
All right, let's see what we got to predict. I got to make sure I don't pull up another short because it's on automatic right now. All right. I just thought it'd be good to look back. Ryan Leaf chipped in, but we already chipped in for Ryan Leaf. Wouldn't have even known.
Yeah, maybe he heard it and he's like, yeah, man, I'm going to put my name out there because, shoot, I heard my name come up in Bronco Top.
Right? He was sitting there. He was like, "You're right. I am better than Russell Wilson." What was that? Hold on, I gotta pull that up. What was that stat about what they gave up for Russell Wilson? And this horse ain't. Oh yeah, and something else we didn't talk about. Bronco play calls right on national television.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. What a dumb thing to do.
Well, it happens every game if you don't see. Like, if you zoom in enough, coaches have two sides of the board. They can't hide all of them. It happened, last night with McCarthy. The cameras just need to back off,
I mean, I don't think people not knowing his plays is helping him. So I don't know where he goes from there. Let's see. I was trying to think. It might have been a screenshot. Okay, this is what the Broncos gave up for Russ and Sean Payton. 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, 1 third and 1 fourth round. Also, quarterback Drew Lock, tight end Noah Fant, and defensive lineman Shelby Harris. They also are combined estimated salary of $235 million for the next 5 years.
I'll say it once. I'll say it again. Right now, I'm still defending Sean Payton. I think he is the right guy for the job. I think he eventually will get this team rebuilt, but it's just been a big mess, and it's not all Hackett's fault either. The Broncos have been a garbage fire for 7 years now. You just got to get somebody that can get this team back in order, and I think Payton eventually will be there, but Russell Wilson is not the guy. They need to cut ties, do whatever they can to get rid of him.
How do you feel?
Proved again that he can do it.
How do you feel about the Rex Ryan rumors of going to Denver?
Yeah, what happened?
I think it's better. Vance Joseph has really proved that him and Denver are just not a mix. He's struggled mightily. The last 2 weeks, the Denver has stepped up, but again, I don't know Rex Ryan could do any better right now. You've got to get your team to believe in you and believe in the coach, and right now I think that's been lost a little bit. Look at Surtain, him and his dad even wants him out of Denver. He's like, yeah, no, we're out of here, and Charles Johnson, a famous catcher for both the Marlins and Rockies. His kid plays for the Broncos. Him as well has kind of had displeasure with his son playing for the Denver Broncos as well.
Well, Garrett Bowles crying.
Ow.
I mean, you feel bad for him. He's endured losing after losing, and then there's always, oh, they're going to be really good this year, and then they're just worse. Like, they're worse this year than they were under Nathaniel Hackett.
And he's one of those players that I really feel bad for because when he came into the league, he did have a lot of holding issues and a lot of this issues. And, he was penalized a lot. And after year 2 or 3, he cleaned his act up. He's now one of the better offensive linemen, and all he knows is losing.
Yeah. No, and I agree with you.
I feel bad for because he's shown improvement, and then he's still stuck where he is.
No, I agree with you there. I think he set the Broncos record or an NFL record or something like that where I think he got 7 or 8 penalties in one game, all for holding, where it was like, dude, this guy, he became the joke of the league for a few weeks. Everyone laughed about it. But no, he has turned into an outstanding player, and it is unfortunate for him.
Yeah, and like Matt said, I haven't given up hope on Sean Payton. I'm always not for firing a coach right away. I think it leads you down a path where the Broncos are because they have gone through all that turnover.
Yep.
Just like turnover quarterbacks so much, especially young quarterbacks. But at the same time, it's very possible he turns the Broncos around. It's also possible the league might have passed him by.
Yep.
I mean, we'll find out next year because he's obviously coming back next year. I think they're going to give him new quarterback. They're probably going to have a fire sale here. I know teams have already inquired about Jerry Jeudy. Cortland Sutton's also being talked about being moved, which is not going to help Ross any. It's just going to make his game even worse.
Yep.
A couple of defensive players already been traded or cut. Frank Clark and Randy Gregory. Randy Gregory signed $70 million contract.
Yeah.
Gone.
There's an article out there too I saw today. It says, could Deion Sanders leave Colorado next year for the Broncos?
No way he leaves.
No. He's already stated he'll make more money in college football than he will in the NFL. I think the Buffalo or Colorado will turn around and give him some of that money that this school is now all of a sudden making like $100 million, over $100 million this year so far. I think they're going to turn around and give him a pretty hefty bonus because you want to give him the incentive to stay, but there's no way he's coming to the Broncos. Speaking of Jerry Jeudy, again, he was in the news this week for getting into a little bit of a predicament with Stephen Smith.
He opened his mouth.
He just shows he is not a mature player. It happened it was 2 or 3 years ago. It was all over like Mad Dog Sports where he was in an interview and they said something he didn't like and he got all pouty and pissy on, the network and just it's like, dude, you got to take some criticism. Understand that it's constructive criticism. Stephen A. Smith even said it was meant to be constructive criticism, but he had to open his mouth and then he shot him down. I mean, guy needs to learn how to take that criticism.
Oh, you're talking when he talked to Steve Smith?
Yeah.
Former Panthers wide. Yeah. I mean, and Steve Smith, fantastic player, both in Carolina and Baltimore. Like, he showed up. He was fun to watch. He played with a lot of heart and talent. And not the first time, like Matt said, there's also a pretty notable time where Jerry Jeudy takes off his helmet during a Chiefs game and is storming around yelling and runs into the ref. And it's like, you can't be doing that. That's stupid things that are going to get you guys to lose a game.
Yep.
Who knows? I know he probably won't be going to Carolina or Baltimore, because Steve Smith already said, if teams call me, I want to tell them not to trade for you. So, Steve Smith's got some cred because he was very good. He knows what he's talking about.
Yep.
He was not, what do you call it, a jag, just a guy. Steve Smith was definitely a superstar. So, all right, let's get to our favorite part of the week. Usually just yelling team names out and maybe being right, maybe being wrong. Usually the second one, but it's always fun to see what we're thinking. So Thursday's night game, we're not quite sure if Lawrence is playing, but they travel down to New Orleans. Bobby,
I'll pick New Orleans.
Matt,
I don't know, man. That's putting a tight spot on this one, but again, New Orleans, I think, has something going. They lost last week. I definitely thought they had their stuff cooking. I'm going to go with New Orleans again as well on this one.
Brendan,
I think New Orleans. The Jags might have a chance if Lawrence plays, but if he doesn't, I think the Saints will be able to take care of him. I don't even know who the backup quarterback for the Jags is, so.
says everything you need to know. Yeah, if Lawrence doesn't play, definitely going Saints, and even if he plays, I don't think he's 100%, so I'll probably just go New Orleans either way. All right. Next up, for some reason, it's listing the Seahawks-Cardinals game first, even though they're a 2:05 game on Sunday. But Seattle Seahawks hosting the Cardinals, Matt.
Give me the Seahawks in this one. Cardinals, the same team right now. They're kind of that up and down team right now, so they just don't have any faith in them.
Bobby,
Seattle.
Brendan,
Seattle. I agree with Matt. I think Cardinals are too up and down, and who knows what you're going to get this week.
Yeah, I'm going Seattle as well. I mean, I think you guys knew that. Outside of the fact I have been picking Arizona almost every time just for the hell of it. That brings us to a interesting matchup. Cleveland going to Baltimore. Cleveland going to Indianapolis. This isn't the 1960s. Bobby, Browns or Colts?
Let's see. After what happened, I don't trust Indianapolis this week. I got to go Cleveland.
Matt?
I think Cleveland's got some momentum right now. You take down the 49ers. That's got to be some exciting things right there. They're going to come up with, a pep in their step. I think they're going to continue it. I don't see the Colts winning this week.
Brendan, did you pick my headphones?
I'll choose the Browns. I agree. I think the defense is one of the better defenses. I think they're ranked up there pretty well. So, and that offense obviously did enough to, do something. I also don't know what to think about the Colts running game. This week, so we'll see.
So I know I did it last week. It's 1-0, being every time this is shown on the screen, they do win. So it puts out some good juju out for the Browns with that automatic book and give it to Cleveland. Brings us to a once storied rivalry, perhaps, even to the point that the Patriots traded a certain quarterback by the name of Drew Bledsoe to Buffalo.
Yeah.
But Buffalo, New England, Bobby.
Buffalo.
Mike?
You kidding me with this one? New England doesn't even stand a chance. This team is in a full-on downward spiral. I think Belichick's job is on the line. I think Buffalo is going to beat them.
Brendan?
I think Buffalo can't trust the Patriots offense at this point.
Yeah, for me, I'm going Buffalo. I don't think Belichick gets fired after the year, especially because they don't have – I mean, everyone league-wide is talking how they don't have any talent. So, especially with it being who it is, I think they give him another year. But definitely our guy, Josh Allen, going up there getting the victory. Brings us to what could be a trash game or a very good high-scoring game. Commanders going to the New York Giants, Bobby.
I think the Giants this time got it.
Matt.
I'm going to pick Washington in this one. I agree with you on this probably being a garbage game. But you never know. These garbage games sometimes could end up being the most exciting games of the week. But Commanders handle business.
And then Brendan.
I'm going to say Commanders. I would like the Giants to win just so then the Eagles have more wiggle room in their division, but I think the Commanders are the better team. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Commanders as well. Brings me to a game that I was feeling conflicted about picking until I remembered who was a backup quarterback on the other team, so now I feel perfectly fine. But it is Detroit going to Baltimore. Bobby.
Baltimore.
Matt.
I've said it every week so far until Detroit proves me wrong right now. I think they're one of the better teams in the NFL right now. So I got Detroit winning this one.
Brendan.
I agree. I have Detroit winning. Yeah.
Yeah, see, for me, this was hard at first because obviously Lamar Jackson, Louisville Cardinal on the Baltimore Ravens, but then I remembered there's a Louisville Cardinal on the Detroit Lions by the name of Teddy Bridgewater. Give me Teddy and the Lions. I know he's not the starter, but I will take Detroit. Their defense, too, is just really good. This brings me to another game where I thought 2 weeks ago Chicago would definitely win. But now with Fields probably not playing, I don't know, but it's Las Vegas going to Chicago, Bob.
Bears. The Bears.
Man.
Oh, it's blurred out. There we go. Raiders.
Oh, whoa.
Raiders.
Raiders
Business here, man.
Brendan.
This is one of those games that I couldn't care less about. Fields isn't playing, so I guess the Raiders. But I think they're both not playing pretty football right now, so
Yeah. Is that the Las Vegas Golden Knights logo there in the picture? That little star.
That is a Christmas leaf. Give me Chicago. Even with a backup, Las Vegas has been so not good, and they've lost to bad offenses. So I don't even think they have to be very good. I think it could be the last legs of Jimmy G. So give me Chicago. Oh, Atlanta traveling to Tampa Bay, Bob.
Tampa Bay.
Right.
Give me, Mr. Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers to take down the Falcons.
Brendan.
I choose the Buccaneers. I just think there's a better team overall, and I still don't believe in Desmond Ridder.
I was almost expecting you to just hold up an actual Falcon.
Sorry. Left it on the side of the road.
Yeah, give me Tampa Bay as well. I don't know. I think Atlanta could surprise us. You know, Tampa Bay's kind of been up and down. So for now, I'm going to say Tampa takes us Pittsburgh traveling to the Rams. Bobby.
Rams.
Matt.
Pittsburgh's just too inconsistent this year. I mean, I really would like to pick them. I mean, like I said, for a long time, Pittsburgh has played smash mouth football. They go out there week in and week out, and they battle the hell out of it. But this year, they've proven to be quite the opposite. I think the Rams are going to be able to hold off, the Steelers, and the Rams win.
Brendan.
I heard a story today that Canada's going to get fired and John Gruden's going to take over as the offense coordinator.
I did see that, and I was like, whoa.
I think Cliff Kingsbury needs to be the offensive coordinator for the Steelers. I think that would be not a terrible thing. I'm going to choose the Rams. I think they're the more complete team. I don't know who their running back's going to be, but Probably still be better than Najee Harris is doing this year. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, I'm going the Rams as well. Another garbage game coming up. Sorry for all the Jordan Love fans, but Packers not looking good. But at least you're playing in the equally awful Denver Broncos, Bobby. Oh, you're picking Denver. All right. Matt.
I can't believe I'm doing this, man. Ever since Super Bowl 32, I've got to go with the Denver Broncos this week. I think they're going to surprise us and actually play some football and squeak out a W.
Brendan.
Well, I'm going to show the Cheeseheads some love, and I'll pick the Packers. I'm going to go against the Broncos, and I don't know if I'll pick them for the rest of the year.
Yeah, the Bronco fans booed Jake Plummer. They booed a team with Champ Bailey on it. The good old days with the good Bronco players, some good fans. Not that there's not good fans today, but those were the good days. I'm going Jordan Love to rack up 35 points over this Denver defense and just annihilate them as Russell Wilson gets benched in the fourth quarter.
He's going to get benched too.
That's what's going to help him win the game. Stidham comes in, 3 touchdowns in the fourth. The Broncos back to beat those Packers.
It's what's going to help them get a quarterback to throw for 100 yards in the fourth quarter alone, more than Russell Wilson's entire game. All right, so another AFC West matchup, Chargers, Chiefs, Bobby.
San Diego, I think.
Oh,
I didn't see much from Kansas City last week.
Well, San Diego doesn't exist no more, Bobby.
Los Angeles Chargers.
There we go. I mean, time travel could exist, so we never know. They might summon them back to play LaDainian Tomlinson. Matt?
The good old boys of KC come back, man. They had an embarrassing week. I'm sure they're hearing about it in the, Kansas City. Brendan might know because they got that local news out there, but I'm sure they need to make up for it. And after kind of a crappy performance against the Cowboys, Chargers just haven't shown anything. And now that's the opposite, where Herbert, very similar to Wilson, putting up big numbers, like really good numbers, but he's playing on a team that's not giving him that support. So Kansas City just gets it done.
Matt, it was awfully nice of you to put my initials on that football helmet. For that alone, I got to pick Kansas City. Brendan?
I want to know how many helmets Matt has. Like, just have random.
I have every team, and I have most of the alternate helmets for some of the teams now. That's been my next go-to now.
That's kind of cool. Actually, I heard Jerry Jeudy to the Chiefs this weekend from which I thought, the news anchor was kind of, being funny. But then when you really think about it, the Broncos don't care. They're bottom of the league. They just need draft picks. So why not do an inter-division trade? I mean, the Lions and the Vikings did it, and it benefited both of them. So I think the Chiefs will win. I think the Chiefs still need a number one receiver. I don't trust their receiving core. But I do think that Andy Reid is a way better coach than the Chargers have. So I will pick the Chiefs.
I mean, Andy Dalton might be a better coach too. We don't know.
Well, I think you're going to see Kellen Moore slide into that head coach job up there out there in Los Angeles. He's too good of a coordinator right now. I think he's going to get a head coaching job here pretty darn soon. And I think Los Angeles would be foolish to let him walk after just getting him and see what he could do with that team.
Well, and speaking of Chiefs possibly picking up ex-Bronco players, I heard Frank Clark might return to the Chiefs and be able to sack Russell Wilson if Russ is still playing when he gets signed. I mean, this could be the last game we see for a lot of those Bronco players as Broncos.
Yep.
Oh, brings us Sunday night. Tough pick 'em. Miami Dolphins going to Philadelphia, Bobby.
Eagles.
All right, Matt, let's see which one you got. You're on mute. You're on mute, Matt.
I'm you.
I got the boys in green winning this one. The Dolphins are, that Cinderella team this year. They're playing lights out football. The Eagles, after getting embarrassed by the Jets, I think are going to feel extra motivated. And with that motivation, you do generally play better. You're going to see this team come out and they're going to fight really hard and get the W.
Brendan.
They're not just in green this weekend. They're in Kelly green this weekend.
Oh, well, then double check on the Eagles.
Throwback. So I choose the Eagles. I could see the Dolphins winning. I don't know how much the Eagles have a lot of secondary injuries. I know they picked up a few players to help out that, but they still have a lot of injuries on that secondary. Also, if Lane Johnson is hurt and does miss this game, that's a big blow to their offensive line. So, yeah, but I'm going to choose the Eagles just because I have to stick by them. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins pull out a victory.
It's like watching my wide receivers play against each other whole game.
Hill versus Brown.
And you got
Smith.
You got Smith there. You got Julio now. I know he's not going to be playing. He's on practice squad this week, but he's there in spirit. And gonna have to take the GOAT though, the modern GOAT, Cheetah. Like I'll say every week, best receiver playing football today. Not all time. He's not Jerry Rice. He's not Walter Payton, who's the GOAT of all football players. But he is the modern GOAT, Cheetah. Give me the Dolphins. And here we go. Matt's ready for Monday night. San Francisco going up to Minnesota. Primetime Kirk. How will he do? Bobby, let me know.
Minnesota.
All right, he's taking Kirk Cousins and the Vikings.
Yep.
Matt.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to prepare for this one. Hang on one.
All right.
I'm going to choose the 49ers. I don't think Kirk Cousins likes to choke in prime time, and I don't think the same reason, the Eagles could win, and they don't like being punched in the mouth twice. So I think Brock Purdy, shows that last week was a fluke. I don't know. I haven't read an update about Deebo Samuel. I think CMC is not going to play this week. But I still think the 49ers are going to pull out the win.
And I'm going to have to take the 49ers as well. But I think I heard a click, which means one thing and one thing either.
Ready, I'm back. Here we go. Who can't go resisting this Monday night game? How exciting is this one? Yeah, they're going to battle it out, but ultimately the head bashing, everything like that, the 49ers take down the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins just absolutely sucks in primetime games. I have no faith in him, and until he can start winning some of these big games, I love my Vikings, but I have to speak truthfully when it comes to it. He doesn't perform. And without not having Jefferson in there, that's just another weapon that's not going to really help. So 49ers win this one.
And Matt, you're just going to make that hat guy even more mad. He already said we're not wearing our hats correct, and look what you did to your hat. You hit it off your head.
Yeah, no, I had to throw it off, man. It's going to be a frustrating game. I'm sure I'm going to slam it down quite a few times.
All right, so that means when we go to the prison museum, we'll have an extra fun time. Get prepped.
How about this for exciting? Tampa Bay had an empty net. They had a penalty. They tied the game with 6 seconds left in the third. Buffalo and Tampa Bay look like they're having a fun game right now.
Oh, Winnipeg and the Kings are having a physical bout. Like they are punching each other, getting fighting calls left and right.
Dude, there was a clip from a fight the other night. Heavyweight battle. Like, these guys were throwing fists. It was like, holy shit. And each player landed like 4 nasty shots, and they were still standing, continuing to punch. My response there was, ladies and gentlemen, that is a heavyweight fight.
Yep.
I'll put it up in a link here or comments if I can find it. But, man, what a fight.
Yep.
I thought you were going to say, that's a Mark trailer.
Dude, it probably would have been Mark Trailer and that radio announcer MC guy up in Roswell. We heard he went up there into the box and took care of some business.
Right, and we're still out here. We petition a lot, so you might see us in our CFL jerseys. Brendan's also going to come down another weekend. We're going to stand kind of outside Coors Field there and petition to become the new owners of the Rockies. And we actually got a game plan, guys. We got a game plan on how to bring them victories. First off, get Mark Trailer in that stadium. You get Mark Trailer, you're winning double the games.
I'm going to speak real quick. One thing that, still pisses me off with the Avs, they have no in-game entertainment. They have no, good prizes at the end of the game. Tonight, Seattle Kraken are having their opening night. Got a friend out there. They're giving away, like, Yeti coffee tumblers, man, like, with the Kraken's name in it for the first, 10,000 fans. But Avs, get on your game. What is going on here? Like, your giveaways last year, I think it was a poster, a koozie, an aluminum cup. Thanks for that. That found its way to the recycling bin pretty darn quick. But it's interesting to see what some teams do with their in-game entertainment. Brendan knows this. Vegas has one of the top in-game entertainments in the entire league right now. They put on a show, and some people are like, well, it's not about the show. It should be about the game. If I'm a fan and I'm spending $180, I want some in-game entertainment as well. Especially if the team's not performing too well, at least that might make me leave with a happier experience.
Yeah, you talk about in-game performances. I mean, another Vegas team, the Raiders. Chris Angel, midfield, halftime, doing tricks. I mean, what's going on in the rest of the NFL? Nothing. Some teams might even be booing Santa Claus.
We don't boo Santa. We just throw snowballs at him.
Oh, they booed. They booed him and threw.
They booed him.
No, Vegas. I mean, obviously because of where it's at. Though personally, Vegas has lost a lot of the charm that I remember of Vegas, with the themed hotels and just the cool buildings. I mean, Universal was there. There was, MGM was old Wizard of Oz. They had lions in there. They had the Universal stuff in the back where you could walk through different movie props. I don't know. Vegas anymore just seems like a big city, and it's kind of sad. Kind of sad.
Well, I think it was the New York Yankees, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they a few years back in the playoffs, and I'm almost sure it was against the Vikings, Twins, throw batteries on the field at some of the players? Like, they threw batteries, man.
I was going to say, I mean, if the Yankees were playing the Vikings, that is a matchup I want to see. I would still probably take the New York Yankees over Russell Wilson-led Denver Broncos. If I had to pick. I mean, lots of things get thrown on the field. We can't actually say what gets thrown on the field in Buffalo. We will get demonetized if we say what is getting thrown on the field. We'll just say it's some adult stuff. That's all we'll leave it at.
Oh, wait, here, I just web searched it. I'm sorry. It goes back to Brendan's team. It was a Phillies player or a fan who threw batteries when they were upset that J.D. Drew, who was once drafted by the Phillies, refused to sign and then signed with the St. Louis Cardinals. So they threw some batteries at J.D. Drew. So, Philly, way to go, man. You guys are top of the line sports fans.
They're top tier.
No, I get it. It's all passion, man. There's some fan bases that you're a passionate fan base, and just that's your cup of tea, eating horse poop and whatnot. I mean, hey, you can't fault them for that.
They showed AI did a simulation if Detroit won a Super Bowl, and I was like, if Detroit wins a Super Bowl, their celebration is going to make Phillies look like freaking tamed citizens. Like,
Oh yeah, dude. I think every car plant out there is going to have some cars flipped over on the docking line and everything like that. Especially if you're on strike, who's stopping them? You know, they might even go in there to take care of it.
So I just read this while you guys are talking. It says report USC Caleb Williams wants partial ownership from the NFL team that will select him in the 2024 draft.
can you do that?
I don't know, because he also said he won't come out for certain teams. One of them was Chicago, so I'm not. Let's go, Justin Fields. He also said no to Denver, so he ain't coming to Denver.
But I just like, can you?
You can't say
own
that.
the team that you root for, though, or you play for.
I don't think you can. Maybe in future, like maybe they'll put it in the contract. Once you retire, you can have ownership stake.
But
or
you have to
whatever.
go to the team that drafts you, though.
You don't have to. I mean, it's happened many times in our, the history of football. You know, Eli Manning and was it Phillip Rivers? The two of them switched teams at the time because
Eli
did not want to
Denver
play.
got John Elway.
Yep, Denver.
Yep.
Yeah, he was drafted by the Colts, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not playing for you," and was sent to the Broncos. So it does happen, and I think, in today's age, everyone's so offended. They cater these college players. They'll let the college players back out. I mean, it happens in the NBA all the time. Yeah, I'm just going to go back to school. Never mind getting drafted first overall or whatever. I do think the team should be compensated somehow. But the NFL doesn't have that problem yet. But, at what point do you put a halt to it where it's like, no, if you commit to the draft, here's your contract, you're signing that you are going to be an NFL player. There's not I'm going to go back on my word type thing.
Well, I don't think Caleb Williams has committed. I just know there's been reports of certain teams he will come out of college for.
Hey, one of them's Minnesota. I'm happy. I'll take him.
Yeah, I think Minnesota, New England was one.
I forget who was saying it, but they're saying he is NFL ready. He could actually come into the league and be a top 10 quarterback in his first year as well. From what I saw, the one game I wasn't super impressed, but I could see, the upside that there is a lot of potential in the kid. But I just think it's time to move on from Kirk Cousins, and why not move into a stud in Caleb Williams.
How do you guys feel about the NFL draft? Because didn't his dad come out and say that the NFL draft is messed up and why is the best player going to the worst team, and that's putting, a damper on things? And, he was – I feel like NFL – I don't know. I think the NFL does it right in the draft thing of the worst team gets the best pick. You're trying to make everyone better and more equal.
Well, and I fully agree with you on that one. And it leaves little to say about, the NHL this past year. A lot of criticism that, the NFL or NHL draft is scripted because how does a supermarket like Chicago that shouldn't have had the number one get the number one over Anaheim, who, although it is in California, is a mid-market team. Mm-hmm. I do like the NFL thing, and I agree that it should be the worst team gets the first pick. That's how you build a franchise. And if Caleb Williams is a superstar stud, then he should be a guy that gets in there, goes to, at this point, was it Carolina, I think, has the worst record? Or what Carolina traded to Chicago. So Chicago would have that choice of do we bring in Williams or is Fields our guy? And then players
Caleb Williams said he's not coming out for Chicago. So
yeah.
I also think the difference between like hockey or basketball, baseball, and the NFL is the other three have minor leagues.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of rookies aren't starting their rookie year. Obviously, Bedard is a exception, not the rule. Vegas's rookie looked really good in preseason, and he still got sent down to the minor league. So I think that that's also where people criticize one or the other. I think since the NFL doesn't have a minor league, they should be best or worst team gets best pick. But I just thought his comments were interesting.
I mean, at one point you got drafted by the team, you really were with them for your entire career. We don't see that a lot, and that's why some of these modern dynasties are so crazy for the NFL, is because now with free agency and all that stuff, it's a lot harder to build those dynasties. Back in the day, you got drafted by Green Bay, you're going to play with them probably till the end of your career unless they release you, I don't know. But I think that is a good week 11.
Let's just finish this for our ending thought process. If you were to be an NFL player and you were going to be the number one draft, what team would you not want to play for if you were going to go number one? We all have one of those teams. Let's end that on that one. Who would that team be that you'd be like, yeah, I'd stay in college if that team were number one?
Denver. I mean, partially, yeah, because Denver's so hard. Because usually it's a quarterback, right, that gets picked number one anymore. Used to not be that way. But Denver is just such a hard market on quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw even with Russ, his first game, first quarter, getting booed already. The Giants, another one, but probably the Commanders. I mean, they've just been a hot garbage for a long time. I mean, maybe with new ownership here soon, they'll kind of stabilize, but I don't know if I'd want to play for them.
I think I'd want to do research on what the towns or what the city offers, or what this or that, or New York obviously looks like a better destination than Green Bay because New York is New York versus Green Bay, Wisconsin. But the first team that came to my mind was the Browns. So I'll say the Browns.
All right, Bob, what do you think?
It's not us. I think it's New England.
You'd say no to New England?
Yeah.
I think I would turn down either Philly or the Jets, just because they have that high, like you're saying, Keegan, mentality on you should perform and perform immediately. And if you don't, you're crucified. And Carson Wentz ended up turning out to be garbage, but look at his first year in Philly. They obliterated him and he stood no chance. So I think just out of the realm of not being able to perform, I'm sure the cities are both historical, great cities, beautiful. It would just be tough to play for a fan base that wants that instant satisfaction.
Yep.
I've been kicked out of MetLife Stadium. I was not kicked out of Lincoln Field. Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think that was a different situation, Brendan.
Right. I was wearing an Eagles jersey in one, and I was not at the other.
Which one did you get kicked out?
Well, I know for sure I would never go to Philly in opposing team's colors. I will.
Yeah.
What I've seen on the YouTubes and the news, nah, I'm good. If I ever go out there, I would love to just see a game. I will definitely be in neutral colors.
Yep.
Just be like, this is the Eagles jersey
or a sweater right now, but you could probably wear the other three teams and be fine.
Well, yeah, but I'm gonna find a Steagles jersey and wear that.
I would too.
That's gonna be an upcoming book review. I actually found a book about the Steagles, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna read this.
You should send me the name of it because I want to read it.
So, do any of you guys do the Yahoo Fantasy Football League, or
what?
You guys do the Yahoo Fantasy?
I'm just in
our league with Brendan. My special needs persons team.
No, I just do our league and have fun with it.
I'm 4-2 in the other league. 4-2. And my buddy Brendan, he dropped Jaleel McLaughlin. I'm like, what are you doing?
Broncos about to drop everybody.
I grabbed him immediately.
It's going to be showing that video of them trying to put in their code and they can't open the door.
But speaking of books. If you guys want to follow what we're doing here at Culz Paranormal, you can find me on Goodreads. Has
Okay.
all our research books.
Good.
I know Brendan's on it. I'll send you the link for that book because it sounds interesting. But yeah, you can find us there. We just did our Hanging with Culz event here at the Eagles Club. Super fun. I know we are going back up to Adams State in a couple of weekends. Should be good. Brendan, anything coming up for you guys?
Nope, just work. Have a couple vendor shows coming up in November that we're getting ready for, but otherwise it's normal living.
And Bobby, where are we hanging out this week for the Broncos game?
I don't know yet. I probably the Berg House.
Not like Golden. What is it? Golden Flame.
Yeah, Berg House.
All right. Matt, what about you? I know we got some stuff planned for the weekend, but any other plans or activities you got coming up?
Nothing too exciting yet. Hopefully some stuff in the next month or two, but not right now. There's a good chance with my other job that I may be headed to New Orleans for a week. So that should be exciting. Should be a great town to visit. And I just got to learn what areas are safe to stay in.
Bourbon Street. Just stay on Bourbon Street. Don't go off of Bourbon Street. You will be fine. Don't go.
Any of the Culz books in the library? That'd be a good thing to do. Put them in the library for people to read.
I don't know. I thought about it, especially in our history section. We had all those books.
Be a good read, I would do it.
Yeah, what's Bobby's talking about, if you guys don't know, we do have 4 books with our personal stories in it.
Yeah.
The author's name is Erica Gammon, Gammon.
Yeah.
Go search on Amazon. All 4 are on Amazon, and we are in all 4 books. So go check that out. Help support Erica. We've enjoyed working with her, and we always want to help her out. And if you guys happen to be in Canyon City, Colorado this week, you might just see a sighting of a Matt and a Keegan. I don't know. You might be getting locked up in a haunted prison. So come find out. If not, we'll be there somehow. So come find us, and thank you guys again for joining. More sports chat on your left, more Culz on your right. Don't forget to hit that like, give us a subscribe, and give us your updated upset pick for this week.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
There you go.
Later.
Peace.
A minute into the game.